Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light.
Welcome to this study that I am so excited about because the truths in idle lies have changed my life, and I have seen lights go on in mature Christian women that have been off all of their lives, and we are changing. We are actually being set free of the things that we've tried to be set free of. And because this is going to be a very soul-searching and I hope soul-bearing study, we wanted it to be in an intimate setting. Not in a great big church, but I'm just inviting you into my home here in beautiful Door County, Wisconsin, with a few friends, and I want you to feel safe in your group and to do what you can to make your group a safe group. Because, as I say, this is going to be a soul-searching study where you're going to face the truth about your deepest desires. So let me begin by telling you about myself. My name is Dee, and I am an idolater. Oh, I don't worship statues. I love the one true God. But I have become aware that there are things that I often desire more than God, even though I say I desire God the most. Ezekiel says we have heart idols. They are invisible. All you can see when you have a heart idol is the bad fruit that emanates from them. All I knew was that I was having trouble keeping a good administrative assistant. And I always thought it was her fault. Why could she not appreciate what a great job this was? It was exciting. You got to travel. You got to meet people. It was ministry. I thought her paid her pretty well. She had a great boss. So why, even though she said she was interested in a long-term position, after 2 years she said, I think I need to go elsewhere. When my fourth administrative assistant turned in her resignation, I lamented to my friend Jan Silvius. And Jan peered at me through her funky rhinestone glasses and she said, "Seems to be a pattern in your life." I thought, what? Are you saying this is me? Well, that was the first red flag that maybe there was something wrong in my heart. When I was a child, while adults picnicked below at this Wisconsin park called Cave Point, we children would go up to this ledge and we would leap off into this vortex. It was very dangerous. In fact, there are signs there now warning parents to supervise their children. Our souls are not clear ponds. They are dark, churning waters. Jeremiah says that our hearts are dark and deceitful, desperately wicked. Solomon says that our hearts are like deep, dark waters. And Ezekiel says we have idols of the heart. Idolatry isn't just worshiping statues. It isn't even just worshiping visible things like television or money. It has to do with the dark cravings of our hearts when we want something more than God. And those cravings enslave us. Soul idolatry is invisible, so it is particularly dangerous. like the dangerous stones that lurk beneath the surface of these waters. They can't be seen, but oh, the damage they can do. But when you finally begin to see your idols, it's huge. It's the first step in setting you free. Jesus said that the truth will set you free, and that is what I am seeing. This is not a phase. This is all through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. The first commandment is all about idolatry, and from that all the other commandments flow. You can do this study alone, but I encourage you to do it in a small group, because as Solomon says, the purposes of our heart are like deep dark waters, but a friend of understanding can draw those waters out. It's why we need the body of Christ. We need each other to see each other. It's like when you look in a mirror, you know how to look in a mirror. You know what not to look at and what to look at. But then somebody hands you a photograph and you say, "No, I will never wear those pants again. I've got to get my hair cut. I am losing weight." Things you did not see when you were by yourself looking in the mirror. In the same way, often God will use a story to turn the light on in our dark souls. Remember how David could not see that he had committed sexual abuse and murder? So God sent Nathan to tell him a story about somebody else. And David said what that other man had done was terrible and he deserved to die. And Nathan said, "You are the man." Well, after Jan made her penetrating comment, I heard a sermon by a man named Jim Ahm. He was with Redeemer Presbyterian Church, and I was intrigued by the title. It was called Models of Manipulation. I thought, that sounds interesting. I know some manipulative people. And it was about Mary and Martha of Bethany, and this is a story that most Christian women have heard and heard and heard. But this time, I heard it differently. It's the scene, remember, when Martha is in the kitchen and Mary is at the feet of Jesus, and Martha is in a huff because she is doing all the work by herself, and she comes out and she has a word for Jesus. And I think that I have not really gotten the heart of this story. Some women think, well, I am supposed to have a Mary temperament even though I have a Martha temperament. God gave you exactly the temperament he wants you to have. Or they think, sitting at his feet is far better than serving. No, both are important in a balanced Christian life. Jim Ahm said this is about a heart idol that was in Martha, and it was hurting her. And Jesus was concerned about her, so he said, "Martha, Martha." What was her heart idol? Jim Ahm said it might have been approval, affirmation. She really might have been the Martha Stewart of biblical days, and this was her chance to shine. It might have been control, power. That's what I think it was, because I identify with that. Leaders think they know how things should be run, and even when they pray, they're telling God how to do it. Now, the usual approach when we have a besetting sin is to attack the symptom. Let's say that you overspend or you overeat and you say, I'll just get a better budget, I'll get a better diet, and I will not spend or eat this way anymore. I'll just say no. But because you have not attacked the root, when you restrict that heart idol, he will cry out and he will win. The root is probably, to those two sins, comfort. And what you are doing is you are finding your own means of comfort instead of running to the God of all comfort.
You have reached the end of the first half of Lesson 1. Please proceed to the proper link as Dee concludes her message, Layers of Lies.